Bookshes! I'm Helen.
And I'm Sam.
And we're here to get bookish with you.
So this week, we're going to be talking about Polaris Rising by Jessie Mahalik. Very excited for this one.
I know. It was super cute.
But first, let's go ahead and just get into our faves for the week.
Perfect.
All right. Let's start with Red.
Okay. Red, I have to say, I'm still reading Crescent City 2. It's going to be a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a long book. Give me a minute.
It's like 3 books.
It is like 3 books. And I love it because it's Sarah and it's very dramatic. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's a reveal now, like every 5 seconds. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot that happened.
I feel like with those books, like every 5 minutes is like, by the way, not Bryce, who's her friend? Danica. Every 5 minutes, like, by the way, Danica did this, Danica did that.
Yeah, and we just found out who Danica's father was.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, Danica. Like, of course. And then I had to remember who her father actually was because there's a lot of characters.
I don't even remember that, so.
I need a spreadsheet. If anyone has a spreadsheet, send me a spreadsheet because I would like a spreadsheet. So that's what I'm reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am reading through the Poison Study series.
Yay!
Yeah, so I'm rereading it because I never finished books 4 and 5.
Okay.
So I finally, no, 5 and 6.
Wait, so there's 6?
Yes, there's 6. In the main story, there's it's a lot.
Okay.
But I finally just finished book 4, so I'm finally up to where I was.
Perfect.
So Poison Study is a great series.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think I only made it through 2 or 3.
Okay.
But it's
fair.
good.
I feel like 1 is like the best.
Oh,
it doesn't
my
get
gosh.
better from 1.
It's so good. Yeah.
Okay. What have you been watching?
Oh gosh. I've been watching The Bachelor. I will be watching The Bachelor for weeks. And we just got to the first international destination.
Ooh, okay. Where are they?
They are in the Bahamas.
Oh, nice.
Well, normally they travel in the U.S. first, and they went to the Bahamas, and the girls were all like, excited. But you guys, they got to play with baby flamingos.
What?
Yeah, they're like these little fluffy, like, I want to play with baby flamingos so bad.
That's adorable.
Yeah, that's what they got to do. I will be watching them for a while. Okay, what are you watching?
So I have been watching through the British show I'm going to say the British pronunciation, Taskmaster. So it's like a British comedy show where they have like 5 comedians and they do these ridiculous, like, tasks.
Yeah.
And then, like, they get rated and, like, there's, I think 15 seasons of it. And my husband and I have gotten to like 11, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Okay, so funny story. When I first heard about this, I couldn't understand what she was saying. And
Taskmaster?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. And then I think Zach might have been like, Zach the Snack, I will always call him that, might have been like, oh, Taskmaster. I'm like, I've never heard of that. And they're like, we've been talking about that. So that was my bad. It sounds really fun.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, what have you been listening to?
Okay, I went to a concert this week
right.
For Valentine's Day, so that was fun. And Alter Bridge was who was headlining, but they had a band open for them called Mammoth WVH. And I am obsessed.
I'm gonna have to look them up.
Oh my gosh. I am obsessed. Wolf is the name of the lead singer.
Really?
Yeah. He's Van Halen's son.
Okay.
And I just enjoy watching him, so he's kind of nummy to me. So I liked him a lot, and I've been listening to his music.
Okay. Mine doesn't have a story. I've just had Crash My Car by Coin stuck in my head.
Yeah. Literally don't know.
Just a random Spotify song that they're like, you'll like this.
Oh my gosh.
And they keep making me listen to it. So
Really?
I'm like, I like it.
Play it for me after this, because I don't know what it is. Okay.
And then Adventure. I think this is going to be the same adventure. We haven't even talked about our golf background.
If you notice, my apartment all of a sudden is on the fairway of a golf course. It was my birthday on Saturday, and it actually fell on a Saturday, so that was very exciting. And I like to party plan, and Sam helped me, and we threw me a party this year, and it was golf themed. Yep. And we went to
Top Golf.
Yeah.
So we were playing golf-ish.
And we wore the best outfits. Like,
I'll
it
throw
was
a picture
so good.
in right here
Okay.
of us in our outfits.
We were adorable. And we played golf and had fun, like, food and drinks there. Top Golf was fantastic.
It was really fun.
And they did a really good job just, like, hosting us in general. And then we ended up back in my apartment. Sam made an amazing balloon banner for me.
A little bit on the edge.
And a unicorn cake that she got me. And everyone got me the cutest presents. And I was really lucky.
It was a good time.
It was good.
All right. And finally, crushed. What have you been crushing on?
Crushing on. I will say that I received for my birthday a crocheted doom slug.
I'm go grab him.
Okay.
Because he is pretty adorable.
He's on my mantle.
It was a very thoughtful gift.
And he and I have been friends and hanging out all week. And he will hang out in my apartment forever. So that's what I'm crushing on. How about you?
I am crushing on the fact that we were at Barnes & Noble the other day.
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
So we were shopping, and this lady walks up to me, and she's like, "Hi, Geekly Ever After," which is my Instagram handle. So she knew me from Instagram.
And I start screaming, and the woman is like, she's really excited. I'm like, no, I'm with her. It's fine. It's fine. Like,
so yeah, it's just crazy that somebody recognized me from my Instagram.
And she had on one of your scrunchies.
She did. One of the scrunchies that I made in my shop. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Super fun experience.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with it, but I was there, and I thought it was amazing.
Time.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the book.
Okay, I'm excited.
All right.
Okay.
So, do you want to what's the book about?
Okay, so Polaris Rising. First of all, I went in. I 100% thought this was a YA book.
Okay.
Warning, it is not a YA book. I didn't know that until things started happening.
Things got steamy.
They did get steamy. It is not a YA book. But it is a... I almost said
space.
YA.
It's space.
It's space.
Like
it's
in the
sci-fi.
future. Yeah, sci-fi in the future.
There is a princess of a high house. Do they call her princess?
I think they jokingly call her princess, like
That's
spoiled rich girl.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. She's just like one of the daughters of one of the high families.
Yes, and there's a bunch of different families, but there are 3 high houses, and she is the 7th daughter, I think,
something like that,
of the high house. So that means that like although everyone like knows who she is and she has clout, she's like low down on the list, so she's not, you know, like the heir. And she was betrothed to
like the 3rd or 5th son of another high family
who she'd known forever, and she didn't want to be betrothed, so she ran away. And this is like 2 years later. She'd been running all over space with different identities and trying to just basically get out of having to do this political marriage, essentially.
So it starts with her getting captured by some mercs.
Yeah.
They're going to turn her in to her dad for money.
Yep.
And she ends up in the prison hold on the ship with super hot...
Yeah.
What is he? The devil of Fornax Zero or something?
Oh my god,
like that?
that's so right.
This guy who supposedly like killed all his his team and like his bosses.
Total badass.
So he's been captured too.
And she's thrown in the same cell as him on board the ship, but the ship is trying to treat her well enough because they want her to get like money.
They're gonna get money for her. So
and so
like they're gonna team up to escape together. Yeah.
And they decide they want to go off and try to get away because they both want to escape the big bad. So
So what are your thoughts?
Okay, I really liked it.
I did, yeah.
I didn't think I was like it as much. I'm not always a sci-fi person. But the banter between the characters, it was very character driven.
Yes.
Which I enjoy. Yeah. And did you listen or read?
I read this one.
Okay, and I listened. The audio narration is so good. She does a really good job, and she makes them all snarky. And I really liked the banter between the two of them. I liked all of the extra characters. Yeah. I enjoyed the action. I thought it was just really well done. I enjoyed reading. It was enough information, but it went quickly. Okay. Yeah, how about you?
Yeah. So, same. I knew this was adult going in.
Okay.
But I thought this was going to be more of a sci-fi adventure, and it ended up being more of a romance.
Oh, yes.
It was definitely more romancy than I expected.
Oh, yes.
Although, thinking back, I probably found it on, like, a steamy, like, space sci-fi list or something like that. But, yeah, I loved Ada. Like, this was, like, the
main character.
Yes, Ada is the main girl. She is, like, everything I want in a main character in a book. Like, resourceful. She's just, like, she's Ada.
She's Ada. And that was
badass. Like,
and that's what was so cool because she's from a high house, she got all the training.
Yes, exactly.
So she had training in, I don't know, etiquette and kind of some,
like, a bit of everything. She knows, like, all the specs for every ship built by all the families. So, like, she gets on a ship and she's like, I know exactly where to go, even though she's never been on it.
Right. She's very resourceful. Yeah. And she also just has the mentality of, like, I can do what I want, and watch me do it, essentially. Right. And no one can hold me back, and that's really fun.
Yes, I did really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought the whole world was interesting. Like, that's what I liked about this. It was light sci-fi, right? It wasn't heavy. There wasn't,
and that's probably why I liked it. So, like, saying sci-fi, I'm like, but I liked it, so it was probably really light.
So it was, like, really interesting, like, the way, like, the ships traveled. Like, right, they had these gates where, like, they had to, like, wait in a queue for the gates to, like, calculate their, like, FTL. I don't know if they called it FTL, faster than light.
Okay, I don't remember.
Jumps, when they made the jumps into, like, hyperspace.
Yeah.
The jumps, they had to be calculated, so they had to wait in a queue, which was kind of a big part of the story, kind of, like, the hidden...
It was. Yeah.
Which was really interesting to me, and, like, having ID chips, which I think isn't that far off from, like, right, how we use our phones or everything, but she's, like, so resourceful that she has, like, multiple ID chips. That was really cool to me.
Yeah, and, like, within the ID chips, she would message, because she was really close to her sister, and they would send these messages in a way that they understood, and I thought it was really...
They all had secret codes within the family, within different siblings.
Yeah, so, like, I remember I was with my cousins when I was younger, and they'd make up, like, a secret language, the older cousins, and we young cousins could never understand it, and so I kind of thought about that, like, that closeness of family, when you know someone well enough that you can say a sentence, but it means something else to the person. That was so much fun to me to read.
And I liked that, like, within the families, it wasn't like, yes, she was being married off, but not necessarily because she was a woman, but because she was, like, that's how I saw it, as she was just a younger sibling. So, like, they're all kind of intermarrying within the families. Like, there's the 3 main families, and there's, like, dozens of lesser families.
Yeah.
So, like, this is the first, like, big marriage between, like, 2 of the main families.
See, and I read that differently, honestly.
You thought it was because she was a girl she was being married off?
Yeah, so there was this quote, I'm big into quotes, and she says, as a daughter of a high house, no matter how far down the hierarchy, because she's 7, I've been seen as a means to an end rather than a real person. So I
didn't think that as her being a woman. I just thought of her being
I guess.
Not necessarily like the 5th, 6th spare or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's just not important.
I guess it just, to me, it sounded like the women had, like, no choice, but the men had more of a choice.
But the thing is, like, still the women were, they were still trained to be spies, right? Like,
That's
they weren't just being sent off to be with this family. No. They were sent to, like, be spies to send the information back to her family.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
But it's still,
making
them marriage subject. But that's kind of how the society was set up. And, like, so I did read that more than that,
So I think my biggest issue was just, it was too much romance. Like, I feel like the first 3/4 of the book were amazing, and then we'll probably get more into this later with the spoilers, but...
I was told early on that it was very romancy, and so I, like, flipped a switch in my brain where I was like, okay, this is romancy.
Your expectations changed.
They did change, and I could have done with less of the steamy sex scenes. I had a problem with them. Well, we will talk.
We'll talk about. We'll get into that to the spoilers, I think. Yeah.
But one thing that I just thought was so cool about her is she kept talking about her public persona. And I know that as, like, okay, I'm not a public figure, but as a public figure, you know, celebrities might say, like, okay, I'm not this way in real life. But I even think, like, us as people, like, when you're out maybe with different people, or when you're out in a different situation, you might have this, like, kind of persona that you put on that isn't really you. I don't know. But she talks about, like, putting up her public persona. Like I thought of it. Yeah. Like, almost like this armor coming around you. And she was like, once I had that public persona on, no one could get close enough to hurt me.
Yeah.
And I dug that so much. Because you think about that. Like, if you put on this type of persona, like, well, no one can touch me. Like, I can relate to that. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced that in situations. Have
Probably
you?
Not, no. Okay.
Because I definitely... I get in where I grew up trying to go out to different events, like I would kind of put on this, it's not totally a public persona, but just this like air of confidence sometimes you need in situations, even like in theater on stage. You almost put on like a different, because you're acting, right?
I think I'm just too self-conscious for that.
Oh, like, really?
I couldn't like, it's kind of like acting, right?
It is like acting, That's what made me think, like, on stage, okay, I now need to be this person, and almost no one can hurt you because you're, like, this different person right now. I just thought that was so lovely. Like, it was so delicious. Like, every time she talked about putting on her public persona, I'd be like, yes, you do that. And I'd get really excited about it,
All right, do you have anything else before we head into spoilers?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's go ahead and do the spoiler warning.
Okay, shut up now if you don't want to know.
Okay.
Okay.
So... I'm gonna talk about the romance, because, like,
oh my gosh,
just the storyline. Like, I feel like the first 3 quarters was very much like we're in spaceships, we're saving each other from, like, there's guns.
Okay, and can we even talk? When she first gets put in the cell with Locke, I immediately wanted him. I, like, wanted to know about him. He was so delicious. And they had chemistry immediately. I don't know how the author did it, but even though they had, like, barely spoken, he was in these chains, you guys. And he would, like, slowly creep towards her. I'm making this sound really
he was
creepy.
trying to scare her, right? Because he's the bad dude, you know? He's like, aren't you scared of me? I'm the devil.
And then he'd get, like, so close. And they would be, like, lip to lip. And he'd be like, but I'm not going to get you or whatever. And I was like, oh, attention. Like, I need them to be together.
I just felt like I was hoping for a, like, slow build, right?
Oh, no, I didn't need that.
I feel like it was all action, and then, like, they go to Earth, and then all of a sudden it's just, like, so anticlimactic, the ending. Like, they capture him, but, like, there's no, like, escaping. There's no blazing battle. It's just she talks it out and negotiates his release.
But
like,
that's
it was just
lovely that sometimes you can discuss your way out of situations. Violence isn't always necessary. They had some fight scenes. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the first 3 quarters, like I said, I love.
So, the fight scenes. Let me tell you, there's this one when they were escaping, trying to get the stuff from the ship. That I can't think of the word they're trying to get.
I know
that is allowing the ships basically to jump faster.
Yeah.
So there were these amazing 2 quotes. They were two, Locke and Ada were trying to escape together, and Locke looks at Ada and goes, "You load, I shoot." I died laughing. Like, I don't know. That's just like the lamest thing to say. Like, "You load, I shoot," and he was like so serious. I mean, the narrator was. And I was like, oh yeah, like I can picture him with his smolder, and he'd be just sitting there like with his gun all like hot. Probably he had like no shirt on, I don't remember, and just like with his blaster, I don't even know what they're called, and saying that to her, and she replies back, "It's about to get explodey in here." Explodey, is that a word?
No.
Like, did I miss something in the English language? It's about to get explodey in here. I immediately was so like, I don't know if I love this. I don't know if I hate this. I don't know if she deserves an award for it. I don't know. Like, for an adult book, I would think it was more YA-ish. So I think that's why I kept getting confused between YA and adult. But I just had to say that because that was my favorite. Like, it cracked me up. I laughed out loud at that scene. Yeah.
I know, going back to spoilers.
Yeah.
The next book isn't about them.
Wait, what?
The next book is about her sister. So, it's like each book's going to be a different couple.
That's
so,
very
it
romance,
makes more
though.
sense, yes. In which, if I'd known that going in, I would have been like, oh, this is more like a romance book.
That's very more romance.
Like, their story's sort of over, like,
So what do you think about their very first sex scene?
See, it's not memorable in my mind. Like, we had a friend who apparently thought it was really I mean, it's a steamy book. There's
not
graphic
memorable.
Sex, but it's not like anything special.
So Locke and Reese have this random, they're at a dinner party. I don't know if you all have ever been to a dinner party where it randomly breaks out into 2 men taking off their shirts and fighting. It's never happened to me. I've been to lots of dinner parties.
Our life is not
no. So
not great without this. Like,
I know.
Where are these fight scenes?
Maybe at the next dinner party, we all have a challenge.
Yeah.
We're going to go up to 2 of the guys and be like, will you take off your shirts and start fighting? Because we need to see if this happens in real life. I actually would do that, and I will let you know if I get anyone to do it.
By the way, was one of your predictions.
I know! I wanted that to happen so bad. So I will ask, I will let you know, and I win that prediction cup, so I'm excited about myself. But they have this shirtless battle. Then all of a sudden, I guess Locke gets like...
She was all like, oh, it's so hot that you're fighting for me.
So in the middle of a dinner party, again, I'm like, so rude. Like, he's like, I need you. And they just like, and Reese tells him where to go.
Go take a guest room.
We're in the middle of a dinner party. They just sparred. Then like, they have, like, they're sweaty.
Yeah.
And what I appreciated is Ada says to Locke, like, ooh, you're sweaty. Like, you need to shower. So she, like, I think watches him shower. I don't know. And then we enter one of the most awkward sex scenes I have read in a while. I can't even, like...
What was awkward about it? I guess, in my mind, it's not memorable. I know what happened, but...
So, he gets out of the shower in some sort of... And all he does is pinch her.
Oh, yeah, and she, like,
she's
comes.
done. And I'm like...
That's never happened to anybody.
Okay. That just doesn't happen. And then they end up being together, and, like, he's, like, like done, and she's like, that was nice, but then they don't discuss if like she enjoyed it as well. That's how I read it. So I'm like, wait a minute, that's awful. So I just felt like he did not treat her as he has this guy that is this like big guy, and he's like, I'm this space cowboy is what I pictured him in my head.
True, yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna like be badass, and then like I thought he could have done better.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion.
Yeah.
And
it was average. It wasn't any.
Yeah, and
like,
one of our
steamy, but it's not like there's steamier books out there if you're looking for it.
Yeah, and I actually don't enjoy reading sex scenes in books, but if I have to go through it, I at least want it to be decent. And like, I don't know, but I would.
Fair enough.
That's why I tend to read more YA, because I actually prefer it not to be there. That's probably why I noticed it more, because I was like, oh, we're doing this now. Like, where's the dinner party?
Yeah.
Like, I want the etiquette. I want them to tell me what the china is going to be like.
Because they had the big
They
party.
did, and they talked about like who would host the party, and then who is in charge of getting like the food around, and then who is in charge of inviting, and like the most recent sibling to come would host the dinner party. So that is what intrigues me about books. So that's probably why. Yeah.
So I had like a few questions I wrote down.
Ooh, okay.
Like, my question is, will there be more Richard? Richard was the not fiance. So like there was they talked about how like as kids, you're fine. As kids they were like super close, and then like the families didn't like them being close. They separated them.
Yeah.
And then years later he came back and he was a jerk. So I'm like, what happened to make him such a different character? And also like, are we done with him, or is he gonna be like the bad guy going forward since we're switching couples?
Yeah, I think we'll see more of him, because we saw a lot of him at the beginning of the book, because he was the main person trying to really capture Ada, and he tried to make her get in a marriage contract,
force her into marriage,
which was not cool. But then all of a sudden he kind of dropped from the picture.
Yeah.
So to me,
I feel like that's not finished.
It's not finished. That's what I think. I think we're going to see more of Richard.
Okay.
And I am hoping that then he comes around and was like, basically, I didn't mean to be this big of a dick, but I didn't.
Right.
I felt
like I'm wondering if he will redeem himself.
Yeah, I hope he does. But I also want everyone to redeem themselves, so I'm always giving them second chances.
So, our predictions.
Yeah.
Do you remember, did you have any other predictions?
I wanted the shirtless fight scene, which I did get. I just didn't need it to go beyond that. I thought there was going to be an animal.
Oh, that's right. Sidekick.
There was no.
No, there's no cutesy animals or anything.
Nothing cutesy like that.
So I think mine didn't really come to fruition.
What was it?
I wanted a space battle. Like, there was lots of guns fighting, but there weren't, like, spaceships shooting at each other or anything.
No.
There's, like, the one scene where they were trying to escape and they were trying to stop them from escaping. There was no, like, shooting or any
really
fighting.
Wasn't.
And then my other one was, like, lots of, like, holding weapons to each other, like...
Oh, yeah, which I'm so not into. I'm like, I'm happy that didn't happen.
I feel like sort of in the beginning where they were, like, first trusting each other.
Because there were chains.
But, like, they trust each other so quickly that...
They bonded, Sam.
Yeah.
Like, they were kindred
so
spirits.
There was no, like... holding a knife to his throat, steamy.
No. Immediate kindred spirits.
I will say one of my things I forgot to mention earlier about Ada is I love how she was vulnerable. Like, a lot of times when you read books, they're like, I'm too tough to cry, or but like she would cry. And I love it's kind of towards the beginning when they were first starting to get to know each other, she's like, she just made him hug her. Like, she was just like, hold me, and like, that was, I like that a lot. That she was just like, I need to be held because this is crazy. Yeah,
and you don't generally see that vulnerability with the badassery. Like, they're not paired together.
Like, I feel like she was a good mix of tough, but also being vulnerable.
Yeah, but also not so vulnerable that you're like, okay, you can like do something.
Stop being a whiny little brat.
And she did say like a few times, because she's like, I wonder if they see Ada or if they see Lady von Hassenberg. And that again speaks to the vulnerability of like, I want people to see Ada, but they see Lady von Hassenberg because that's my public persona again. And so that, again, led to the vulnerability, which I did think was really nice. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Anything else?
Okay, just the one thing that she said again, where I immediately was like, I am in this book. Like, I will always be in this book. Again, a quote. And she's like, why were, what did it say? Why were the attractive ones always criminals? And that just cracked me up because I was like, you're a fun person. Because she's looking at Locke and she's like, dang it, why does that just always happen? Like, that's what I think, like, embodies the book, is, like, just that type of, like, snark, and I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Should we hand out some awards?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, biggest bitch award.
You go first.
All right, Richard.
Yep, that's who I picked. Her fiance.
Yeah.
He was a mean. He was like chasing after her in space.
Yeah.
And he was trying, like, this marriage contract he was trying to
force
her into.
Trying to get, we think, right? I don't know if they confirmed. It's all about getting this planet that has the resource that they need.
That's what they think. But he was like, basically, I'm going to kill your friends if you don't do it.
Yeah.
That's horrible. And chasing all around space, like, does he not have anything better to do?
Right.
Like, if he's like the high,
I think it's like he's probably like he wants to get more respect in his, my guess, right? He wants more respect in his family.
Oh, so maybe like she disrespected him by like running away.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's like obsessed with it. Okay, I can buy that.
Yep.
I can see that.
Okay. Badass award.
The badass award I gave to Locke.
Okay.
Just that first scene. So again, I'm telling you, they're in this prison. And he has these chains, and he's like malnourished. This is not sounding sexy at all. And he's malnourished, and he's tired. And then like she tries to get him food.
Right. She's trying to win him over.
And tries to win him over, and tries to convince this like guard to like loosen the chains, and she does all this. And then all of a sudden, like, you think he's just down, and he's like in her face, and he's like, no, they may have caught me. I may be malnourished. I may not know what I'm doing, but I can still fight, and I can still inspire fear, which again doesn't sound great, but I just thought that was a really badass move, because he's like, no, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine goes to Ada.
Okay.
When she's been captured on the planet that she like snuck into that base.
Yeah.
And like they're holding her in this room with like this window. And, like, she kind of breaks through and, like, grabs a gun.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, the room is just filled with all these guys. And she's like, screw it. You know, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Even though she knows she just gets shot so many times. Like, that was for me. Like,
okay, that's really cool.
I'm not just going to wait. Even though I'm not going to escape, I'm going for it.
I like that. Yeah. That's very good. And that's cool that we gave the badass to the two main characters. Yeah. So, like, it's a badass book. Yeah.
All right. And finally, WTF.
The dinner party fight sex scene. Like, I can't, in my brain, I'm still confused. This happened days ago, and I'm like, okay, so they're at a dinner party. Okay, check. So they're hungry, but they don't get to the food. Okay, so then they're fighting because maybe they want more of an appetite. And then I'm like, okay, but they like each other, so why are the boys fighting? Don't understand. And then why would they just go off and, like, people are around and they're...
This just happened in the book I just finished.
Oh my gosh.
They're, like, at an apartment warming and they just go into the bathroom.
No, I don't understand.
Like, and they know you're in there doing it. Like,
right. And they weren't quiet about it. And, like, then I said, that is my biggest... If that had been taken out of the book, I actually think I would have liked the book significantly better. Okay. So, yeah.
All right. Mine is at the very end when they're escaping Earth on Reese's ship. He comes to get them.
Yeah.
And they're just, like, walking up to the ramp of the ship, and there's another chick there. And, like, she's
oh my gosh, I forgot about this!
Like, instantly jealous and, like, oh, I don't like her. Like, you haven't even spoken to this woman, and you're getting the whole, like, jealous, like, oh, she's pretty, so I don't want my boyfriend to, like her.
Because Reese literally because Locke spoke to her.
Yeah. Like, I was like, gross. Like, you're in an established relationship at this point, right? Like, you've literally saved each other's lives.
How many times? They haven't talked about it.
But still, like, it's just that stupid, like, girl moment of instantly being, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated that ending.
Because she's a stronger woman than that. Like, she showed that through the whole book. Exactly. And then all of a sudden was like...
To just show this insecurity I don't know. Yeah. I hated it.
No, I can see that. I can totally see that. And... This is very random, but it threw me. You just said Reese. Reese is a character in the book, not Reese Sand. Yeah. I wore this shirt. But Reese was, and every time I'd be like, Reese, are you there? And I'm like, not that Reese. And then I'm like, Reese.
Still a good Reese.
Very good Reese. Yeah. A very good Reese, but like that name is taken. I feel like you just can't use it. So don't use that name.
Okay, and finally, like it, love it, or leave it.
Okay. I struggled with this one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. This time I struggled. I am stealing a Sam, and I'm going to say I like it plus.
Nice.
Because it was entertaining. I'm so glad I read it. But if I would have had to remove the awkward romance-ness for me to love it, and then I think I would have loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Okay, yeah. That's fair.
I mean, like, knowing now that it's a romance, I just expected something different, and, like, that's my only hang-up with the book.
Well, and I thought it was YA.
Yeah.
So I was thrilled.
So for me, I loved it. I loved, like, that it was spaceships and, you know, different planets. And like I'm excited to read I already ordered the next 2 books.
I haven't decided if I'm going to go on.
Okay.
I actually am way more curious now that the sister, because the sister was really cute.
And it's like the security guy.
And it's the security guy, which is so cute.
Yeah.
And I just didn't think I could do more Locke and Ada being together. And so that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I think I will now read on. Yeah,
cool.
no knowing that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have predictions for our next book?
Okay, so the next book we've decided to pick is 1,000 Heartbeats. 1,000, right? 10,000?
I forget.
1,000?
I think we figured it was 1,000. Just
1,000?
8,000 heartbeats.
I have been calling it 10,000 Heartbeats, I think.
It could be.
But I think it's 1,000. No, it's 1,000 Heartbeats by Kira Cass. And you know what Kira Cass wrote?
Yes, she did the selection.
She did the selection.
So I'm predicting there's a love triangle. Straight off the bat, there's a love triangle, right?
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think it's like kind of in the description too.
But
that's a good description.
Okay,
Well,
I've read the description recently.
Okay, no, love triangle is a very good prediction.
Okay.
I love Kira Cass so much. I think there's going to be a very interesting discussion about loving a sweet, like a food. Because if you remember in the selection, Maxon bet, and America bet on whether her sister would eat a strawberry tart and cry. And then if she did, America got to wear pants for a week. And she didn't, but then Maxon made her pants anyways. And it was like the start of everything. And so I think there's going to be another, she does a good job of explaining food in her books from what I remember. So I think there's going to be a very specific treat. And then I'll bake it and it'll be fun. Okay.
My other prediction is going to be, it's supposed to be enemies to lovers a little bit. So I'm hoping for like a steamy fight turned like romantic. Like right, they're going to be fighting and then they just kiss. Like that's my other prediction.
Okay. Man, I hope not.
Yeah.
I just hope not. My prediction, okay, this is kind of random, but that, well, of course, predictions are supposed to be random, that 1,000 Heartbeats is like said so randomly throughout the book. Like, because they want to really like drive home that it was the title. So you know how sometimes when they get like really excited about a title and you're like, oh really, he thought of her love in like 1,000 Heartbeats. Oh really,
there's gonna be some sort of cheesy line.
Yes, so they marched to the drum of her 1,000 Heartbeats. Like there's gonna be this epically cheesy horrible line about 1,000 Heartbeats, because you don't like title a book that without there just being this like amazing. So that's what I think, like as cheesy as you can possibly be. I could not be more excited about. I just could not be more excited.
All right, great. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Me too. It'll be really good.
All right, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.